Afternoon, everyone. It's Shamila Ramjawan coming to you from the Red Corner Chat. My guest this afternoon is Naseera Turkey, who is the CEO founder of Azuri Capital, financial coach and advisor at Legacy Employee Benefits, a global speaker and mentor. Hi, Naseera.
Hi, Shamila. Thank you for having me.
It's only a pleasure. It's been a while since I've seen you, and I know there's lots of changes that happened in both our lives. So before we go ahead, you maybe want to tell the audience who exactly is Naseera Turkey.
Well, I think mainly I get stopped and asked about my surname. So let me put people at ease. I'm definitely 100% South African. I love the country Turkey, haven't visited it, hopefully soon one day. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a mom, a daughter, and I think most importantly, I'm a woman, and I think the journey of every woman is a story that needs to be told in her own way, in her special way. And I think we each walk our own paths to find ourselves one day sitting at the Red Corner Chat.
I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to actually talk to you because we haven't seen each other in years. If I can recall, I think the last time we had lunch at Killarney Mall.
Actually, we did Killarney Mall and we did Winnie Mandela's birthday.
Yes. How could I forget that? Of course. Absolutely.
That was our last celebration, if I could put it lightly, at Mama Winnie's birthday. That was and I think we both have just journeyed on, into different spaces. And I think that's where, as a woman or as an entrepreneur, it's amazing as to how you can cross paths with individuals and still connect afterwards, and that leads you to above and beyond things. And I think that's the key of today, is that we met so long ago. A lot of people don't know that we know each other. We've actually, our paths crossed when you were just starting out your Princess D. And I was on my own path, if I could call it lightly. And we chatted a little bit about it, and I'll go into detail when I say, our paths have crossed, but it hasn't really, there wasn't a storyline to it,
Wow, so we're talking 2016.
Yes, exactly, 2016, that's true. I think when you just met me at that time, I had taken the plunge of wanting to add another cap to my serial entrepreneurship, and I decided to partner with the Day Spa. And I've realized one thing of that is that I'll always like to remain the client and never the owner. I prefer to be on the other side, getting the massage and the pampering. And I think that's where it actually led to me realizing the loss of my mom that had taken a toll on me at that time.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, so it was a journey of not realizing that how loss and heartache and having to deal with personal family issues. And I think, like, for me, Cancer Month is a very big thing because my mom passed away from cancer, and how that has led one to be more conscious and more alert and more in the now, and not living just for rushing for what is to be. And I think 2016, it happened in 2015, but 2016 was the year that it actually hit me. I was in autopilot trying to deal with, no, I'm fine, I'm okay, this doesn't affect me. Everybody has to leave this earth somewhere along the line. And also your career, you think you've got it all under control, but when you lose your emotional side of it, it makes you redesign your life in a different way. And things that you thought that was not important to you, or you felt that you dealt with it, opens up a completely different avenue for a person to deal with. Death is something that can change a person.
Absolutely. But I think, I've lost so many people in my life, but I think your mom is the biggest loss ever.
I think also being an only child, that makes it even worse, because 2 years before that, I lost my dad. So in the span of 2.5 years, I lost both my parents. So yes, you're right. Your mom becomes your anchor, your go-to person. It doesn't matter what, your mom's always going to tell you, I love you. It's going to be okay, my child. And all of a sudden, you have this realization that that person isn't there any longer. And I think also as a grown up, you know, a person that's married and that has kids, you tell yourself, you know, you're supposed to deal with it. You're an adult. And unfortunately, you know, everyone's different and everyone thinks of things differently. And I think my journey going into being a global speaker and having the passion of, that's where the birth of Azuri Capital happened. You know, it had something that had happened to me in 2014 that led to the name Azuri Capital, but actually, you know, going on the journey of now opening up a business that was specifically targeted to building and empowering women, and teaching them to be resilient in terms of the financial well-being. So to give you a history, Shamila.
Yes, please. I'm
I've
dying
actually
to
been in the
hear, because this is a whole transition, you know, from the Naseera that I know or knew in 2016 to the new Naseera. So it's like talking to a different person. So take me through that journey.
So firstly, I've been in the industry for 25 years. So I've been in the financial services for 25 years, but it's something that I did because I wanted to be this flexi mum, you know, that could manage her kids' lives, you know, take them to school, but still have a job. It wasn't something where I was just put into corporate, you know, so I built myself up within that financial sphere over a number of years, and that this is actually after having my children. So I went back to actually learning, you know, being a wife and being a mum taught me a hell of a lot in terms of you're never ever too old, and you're a very good example of it, in terms of studying and in terms of hitting the books and in terms of learning. So that was the first step, is, you know, going back and studying and realizing that, you know what, I enjoy what I'm doing. But then after a while, you know, life takes over and you end up with mommy duties and family responsibilities. So you don't really think that you could actually pave a career path for yourself, because you're so busy trying to build your kids and build this family around you. And fast forward to, you know, 2014, actually, that's when the first real thing that hit my life is when I went on a trip with my husband to Dubai. And that's why Dubai holds a very close spot to me. And I had a freak accident. I was just going into the bathroom and I couldn't find the light switch. And as I turned around, I hit the back of my leg and I fell into the bath, hitting the back of my head.
Oh my goodness. No, I didn't know all of this.
Yeah. And I actually didn't come to. So here we are in a foreign country with a surname Turkey. And here you wake up in hospital and you can't feel from here down. So that was the first step to, you know, realization that anything can happen to you anywhere.
So
you could go on the best holidays.
Can I just stop you there, Naseera? What was the cause of that? Was it a health issue?
No. So I walked into the bathroom and, you know, in Dubai, because sunlight is so bright and so quick, so they have double layering of their curtaining in their hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk into the bathroom and I'm trying to find the light switch and I don't find the light switch. And as I turn around, I'm actually on the corner of the shower and I hit my leg on the corner and I slipped and I fell backwards.
Oh gosh.
Freak. Absolutely a freak. This is from having an entire holiday in Europe. So my husband and I went to Rome, Venice. We were away for close to 2 weeks, and this is our trip coming back. And that was the first financial lesson for me. Besides a health scare, a financial lesson. Always have a plan for yourself. Always make sure that anything can happen to you. And I think that's where the lesson of what I do and why am I passionate about what I do is that it happened to me. I went on a holiday thinking it's all perfect. And here this freak accident happens. I wake up not being able to feel from here. I actually don't remember that last couple of days, except of what my husband tells me. And thankfully, I came to. I remembered who I was. So I left Dubai with 8 stitches at the back of my head.
Oh my gosh. Sure, sorry about that.
So come back to South Africa. It doesn't end. I get ill. I end up having excruciating pain. And the diagnosis was that I actually fractured my sternum and I spent 2 weeks in ICU.
Sure. Okay.
So
you've been through hell and back.
It is hell and back. and not being able to work. So I work for myself as an entrepreneur. This was not something that was planned. So for me, what was the biggest learning point was make sure that your house is in order. Make sure that you have a will in place before you travel or you go anywhere. Make sure that you have income protection when you are self-employed, more so than a normal employed person. And that's what got me through, because I now went into panic mode because I've been on holiday for the last 2 weeks and I'm supposed to come back and I was supposed to be doing business. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm laying in hospital and not knowing, what's going to happen. I've got rent to pay, I've got staff to pay and things like that. And that's where having a plan is important. And that's where you don't just become the broker or the advisor or the coach. You now are that example. Did I do the right thing for myself? Did I have the right plan? And that was the starting point of Azuri Capital in terms of coaching. And then obviously I lost my mum the following year, and that took me 10 steps back. And it was exactly, my mum had gotten ill 10 days after I opened up and moved businesses. And a week later, I had to close the doors. I couldn't function. I didn't realize that, I was going through so much of pain during this period, and I wasn't working again, So having an emergency fund was the next step that I thought myself, make sure you have an emergency fund, make sure that you plan that anything can happen in terms of your business. And I think that journey has led me into, we had just met in 2016, and 2017 was the first time that I actually got to speak in Dubai. My first international place out of all places had to be in Dubai. I mean, Dubai holds a very, very close spot in my heart due to the journey. And then during 2015, I also lost a best friend to cancer. And fast forward to 2017, I had my own scare with cancer.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. So I had my own scare with cancer, where I had a tumor removed from my spinal cord. And I couldn't work.
Naseera, you've been through so much in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But look at you now. Yeah. Okay, go on. It's very interesting.
Yeah, you said, I told you you're going to find out a lot more.
Definitely. I think it's such an interesting journey, and you're going to impact so many lives and just inspire other people as well in the process.
Yeah, so I think that was the turning point, is that you have been, dealt so many blows in life. What do you do? Do you curl up and feel sorry for yourself? I took it from a financial space again, because that's my journey. That's what I actually found out that I loved the most. And that's when I started coaching women that, never give up. There's always a tomorrow, let me help you to make that plan. Let me help you to hold your hand through this process. And cancer became very close to me, because now not only losing my mum, but I had my own journey, my own fears, my own scare about this. And, having a spinal cord surgery is not the easiest when you're told that you're not sure whether you're going to ever walk again. And that has been a real changing point for me in terms of not just building resilience, but also learning the strength from within, that no matter what happens, you can pick yourself up. As long as you trust in yourself, you trust in God, you have your loved ones, you are honest with yourself that I can do this. I don't have to be a stat. I don't have to think of myself in a negative way, but rather in a positive. Because, if you really think about it, 14, 15, 16, 17, that's a hell of a lot to happen to one person
Absolutely.
in those 4 years.
Yes.
And you regroup yourself, and you rebrand yourself, and you look forward to how you can inspire other women, and how you can inspire them to say, never give up on your dreams, never give up on your worth, never give up on standing tall and believing in yourself, and believing that it is capable and that you can get through it. And it's also support. I talk a lot about sisterhood, and I talk a lot about, where my own fears have been tested, my ability to want to stand up and talk to people, or to be able to use a medium like this. We all we all have not been media savvy prior to COVID. So, it's also about reinventing what you already know. So what we're doing is that we could have been sitting on a platform in a lovely, hotel with all these lovely ladies and listening, to what we're talking about. Today, we're using it as a live stream on Facebook, where now you get the opportunity of having a lot more people, listen to what we have to say and inspire them. So for me, it's the inspiration more than anything else. Having lost both my parents and having gone through my own personal journey has taught me that we are resilient. We can reinvent ourselves. There is a plan out there. And if you think on that positive light, and if you meet people that think the same way that you do, or think differently but believe in you, and that's where the sisterhood comes in. I met wonderful, wonderful, wonderful women along this journey, and I'm probably going to meet a lot more women, and it's for them that have seen the type of person that I am, and likewise I've seen who they are, and they've held my hand through the worst of times. And that's what makes the sisterhood a global sisterhood, because it doesn't mean you're South African or you come from Africa that it's only them. It's only us. It's about everyone. Everyone has lost someone along the line in their lives. You've been a widow at a very young age. I know, my mom's mom had been a widow at a very young age. So we've all had loss somewhere in our lives. But the difference is that we all don't deal with it in the same way. As strong as we think we are, we are vulnerable. We are weak. Weakness does not mean that we're not strong. Weakness, it just means that we're humans. We got humanity.
Yes. And also, I think, we just, everyone's different in the sense that we handle things differently as well.
Yeah. And your strength comes from different things. I mean, I didn't realize standing up and talking to women and giving them hope would actually fulfill me. Fulfill my path, fulfill my journey, make me want to do it more and more, and it's such that I didn't think that I would have a scare for cancer or be put in a position where I'm going to lay flat in the bed and not being able to work for 3 or 4 months that I didn't work. I didn't drive. I couldn't comb my hair. And, and that didn't happen to me once. It happened to me twice. So that already, teaches a person, generally in society, they will say, women are, so much more stronger. We carry babies, we've got the ability to, birth this child or have this child in us for 9 months. We're strong.
But we are.
And we are.
Let's agree with that point. We are.
We are. We're resilient. Again, I use that word. We caregivers. We take on the world and we do it beautifully, but somewhere along the line, our human, vulnerability comes out. Things happen to us. And I think it's not easy to share it on your live feed. It's taken me a good number of years, to get to this point that I'm comfortable talking about it. I'm comfortable sharing. I'm comfortable in inspiring others that, you can have a life after sorrow, after pain, and also from a financial space. I've come into a lot of women that have come to me that have, approached me at different events, at different circumstances in terms of their financial situation. So now I've even branched out into gender-based violence, because now women have seen the potential of how, when you become financially savvy and you become more independent, how you can take your power back. And that has been a new avenue in terms of helping women or assisting women in finding financial freedom through this journey of mine.
Okay, so I just want to take a step back, okay? Talking about Azuri Capital, how did you get that name? Because I know you mentioned it and you said you're going to tell us about it. So how did you get that name?
So see, that's the reason why I had to tell you that I had this European holiday that ended in Dubai. So it started in Rome, Venice. And when this incident happened to me, and I was thinking of a name that holds something dear. So Azuri is actually the blue stone of Europe, of Italy, right? So it was so fitting to have Azuri and never to forget where it started. Because had it not been for 2014, I don't think I would have taken that journey. And Azuri Capital would have never been born. I would have been in that same position, doing the same thing over and over, expecting, something else to happen in a different way. But my birthing of Azzurri Capital started from that. So Azzurri is the blue stone of Italy.
Okay, I knew that, but I couldn't put everything together. But I know you did say you went on that holiday, so I thought something magical happened there. Well, it's something magical did happen because you started.
Yes. Well, for most people, let's say magical. I would say it was almost like a rebirth. Having to have what happened in Dubai made me rethink my entire life. So I think Azzurri I went for the perfect honeymoon. In all honesty, right? It was supposed to be the honeymoon that we've been keep on talking about, and it never ever happened. And that's what the Europe holiday was all about. And I fell in love with Italy. I fell in love with Greece. I fell in love with Santorini, and having that aspect brought in the good times. So even though Dubai had happened, it was the memory of the good times, and the lessons learned. So for me, it was about the lessons more than anything else, and the journey from there, because that's led to other things. That's led to me sitting and talking to you today. I would never have branded myself. I would have never gone on different platforms and speaking my truth and, and speaking my journey. Everyone has a story to tell, but not everybody is comfortable in speaking about it and using that as a tool to uplift other women. I think that for me, that's the key, is using the tools, using the real story. So I'm not giving you, a story out of a book to say, if this has happened to you, this is what you would benefit, in the normal financial terminology. When I say income protection, I actually do mean it, because I've walked that journey for myself, not anybody else.
Naseera, before we go ahead and talk about the financial aspect of your business, which I know you're very passionate about, just take me through the whole idea of starting this business, what challenges you faced. Because, normally when we start off as entrepreneurs, we go through a whole lot of challenges. What challenges did you face, and how did you overcome that?
I think, firstly, the financial industry is a very male-dominated industry. It's taken 20 odd years for people's perception to think that we as women can actually go give good financial advice. And it's that stigma, that a man knows more about money than a woman.
Really?
That a man can handle money more.
They do?
Right. So I think one of it is the stigma, that one has to overcome in one's business. Besides having to build a business and to build clientele, it's also to showcase that you can actually deliver on your promise. So, for me, that has been one of the biggest stepping stones. And education. So I've educated myself. I've gone back over and over and over to make sure that I keep up to date and keep abreast in terms of the markets, in terms of what my business has to offer. And I think that's also very important. Individuals want to do business and they want to better their business in terms of what is my UPS, what is my financial worth in terms of my business. But for me, one of the biggest obstacles have been, firstly, being in a man's world and having to take that perception out that I'm me. I can do this. I'm good at what I do, and to showcase that to people that see the true value of what I have to offer. So I think, it's a mindset, and it's also limiting beliefs a little bit. So once you pass that, it gives you a different sense of energy, a different sense of belief system, and educating yourself. So once I did that, and once I qualified, it helped me to narrow the gap in terms of, this is a man's world. We belong in the same world. So everything, it's not you, but us, and thinking that we are collaborative, so we can do this together. We can utilize this platform to help each other. And, colleagues now became your best friends. They imparted knowledge, with you. So it wasn't a boys' club any longer. Well, they let girls in.
You know the saying, behind every successful man, there's a woman.
Always. Always.
Awesome. No, no, thank you for that. And thank you for being that strong woman that can actually represent us women. Because, women face so many challenges, and some women are not strong enough to actually take on men and go that extra mile. So you've done very well in that space.
Yeah, look, it's been a journey. It's, there's no two ways in sugarcoating it, and saying that, oh, it was, something that I just did because I'm just strong and I'm capable. It was a journey that one has to walk through. You don't learn to be strong just because you're just born, or you woke up one day and all of a sudden you're the strong individual. And I think a lot of women out there have this perception, that you have it, how do I get it? Is it something specific? It's also trust in yourself. Do not let people overpower you. Do not have the ability of letting someone lower your standards, lower who you are. And I think once you believe in yourself and you're capable of doing anything, the saying goes, nothing becomes impossible. The impossible is just a little word. It says,
It is
I am
possible.
possible. It is possible.
Talking about which, I saw a post on Facebook, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, where somebody posted a quotation that said, let us wish 2020 away because it's been a bad year for everyone. And I challenge that because for me, it's been one of my better years. It's all about upskilling yourself and making or changing your life. And I've done so much this year that I didn't do last year or the year before. So, I've utilized all the time, and I'm not complaining about 2020, except for the losses, with COVID, the death and the illnesses. But besides that, it's been one of my better years.
I actually agree with you. I had a conversation with a client of mine, and her family has now grouped together and are so close that she could never imagine. And this is not even by seeing each other. This is just in terms of using social media as a platform to gather together, to actually commit to that family time. That people's lives have changed. And I agree with you completely. I don't see 2020 as all doom and gloom as people put it out to be. I think, yes, it was definitely the opportunity to reset. There was a reset button, in terms of what are your values, what do you live by, what do you stand for, and all sorts of things that go with it. But it was definitely a year that people prospered in different ways.
Yes, I look at all the reset, realign, readjust, redesign, just reflect. I think that's important as well. So, Naseera, you've done so much. Now, in terms of GBV, just take me through that, because I know, a lot of women are going through that at the moment. They're in the situation where they can't get out because they're not financially dependent, and they cannot go anywhere, they cannot do anything. What is your take on this? How would you structure something for a woman that maybe is not even an entrepreneur, doesn't have a business, but a woman that's maybe not even working or has a job with a small income? How would you structure a package to actually make sure that she is okay to say to him, okay, fine, I'm leaving now, and she walks out that door?
Actually, I will give you a little news. It's going to be highlighted soon. So I have partnered with a place called Safe Space. Please do give it a like and a check. And what we're going to be doing and launching is a few series on how to be financially empowered when you are put in a situation with gender-based violence, where you're now sitting in a safe house, or you haven't left, or you're at home, or you're planning to want to leave that situation. So I think one of the key things, if I could point out to any individual out there that is suffering or going through silently, in terms of gender-based violence, is you need to plan. You need to be really smart about your money. And I'm going to give a very, very simple example that women don't think of. Every single woman out there buys groceries. We are always looking for the good deal. We're always looking for the best bargains. Online shopping has taken a completely different outlook to housewives sitting at home and doing online shopping and looking for the deals. And
go on, what I found with the shopping online, we don't get the 3 for 2s.
Oh. You see, you're looking for the bargain.
Absolutely. I've been like that all my life.
Right. But you see, you don't take that lesson into your personal life. So one of this is an absolute simple example. I mean, I can go into many more. But if if you're a housewife, you could be a person that's in corporate, you could be an entrepreneur, so it fits in line with every single person that you've mentioned, right? And just doing grocery shopping and looking for that deal and saving that money. So if you put a budget of say 5,000 rands a month towards your groceries, and you got your groceries in at 4,000 rands, what are you doing with that 1,000 rands? It goes back into the house, it goes back into the kitty, it goes back into you splurging on things that you shouldn't be doing. So the first step would be is that save that 1,000 rand, bank it in your name. That's your first step of budget saving for you. And especially if you're in a relationship where you got no control, it's someone else that's controlling those finances. Because if you're unemployed, you're sitting at home, you're a housewife, and you are left with limited resources. That's the first spot, that you could start saving. And I say start because obviously you need a little money to grow into a lot of money. And that money that's a lot of money is where I come in to then assist you in terms of saving that money. That's the one step. The other step is that we've got different cultures that we're talking about. So I'm not talking to a specific culture here and specific religion. We're a diverse culture. So stokvels, a lot of women are into stokvels, where they would save their money over a specific period of time and they collect lump sums. Why do you put that entire lump sum back into your household? Why don't you take 50% of that and invest it in yourself? And again, someone like myself will come in and invest it for you. So that's another avenue where, from a culture perspective, you've got a different method of saving, but you're still saving because you've taught yourself some discipline. But that discipline, unfortunately, only lasts 12 months because you give yourself 12 months. So if there's 12 ladies, 12 months from January to December, each person in that little, stokvel collects this lump sum money. And I think that's another angle of where a woman can save. If she's stuck in a relationship and she knows she's got no other avenue in terms of saving, but this is her one little outlet, her one little savings tool that she's good at, but she puts the money back into the household. That's the biggest mistake.
I think this is across the board. This is for every woman, whether you are in a relationship, whether you are faced with GBV, or whether you I think it's just across the board. Do you agree?
Across the board. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. That's why I say it's not specific. I've toned it down a hell of a lot, in terms of simple explanation. I've once given a talk to a set of young women, really, really young women. And one of the key things was, how do I save? How do I take that first step to save? And I'd given them a very simple example to say, everyone has either a coffee tin or a tea tin at home, and take one of your old coffee tins and seal it up like in the old days, cut a little thingy at the top, and every single day put 5 rand in it.
It reminds me
of or for every time right? Or another one would be is, when I'm giving workshops on loving yourself, or appreciating the financial aspect to your life, build self-worth or build financial worth. So for every time you tell yourself, I love you, put 5 rand into that tin. If you
oh my God, mine should
more,
be full in a day.
Would mine. Right? And you'd be surprised of how many women actually don't say they love you, to themselves. So, that's again, it's a very broad spectrum, but it's a very simple way of analyzing how I can save money. It doesn't matter where your circumstances are. It can go all the way from 5 rand to 50 rand to 5,000 rands. You got 500,000 rands. It doesn't matter. Like you said, it talks to every single one of us as females. It doesn't matter where you are in your career or your personal life. It's important to save for your tomorrow. It's important for you to build your future for tomorrow, and you are responsible for it. Unfortunately, over the years, we have been taught that men need to look after us and men need to take care of us. You are a good example of that. You're a single mom, you brought up both your kids. So, you're an excellent example of independence and how resilient you have been as a woman, and financially how you have brought up your own kids. So, and I think that's one of the takeouts out of it. But not, unfortunately, not a lot of us can do that. It's a lot. I mean, people listen to me and they always tell me, it's a lot easier said than done. You make it sound so easy. You make it sound so doable.
Yes, I think, people need to get out of that complacent zone. You need to get out and do things for yourself now and look ahead. Think about your future. It's not just about today. COVID has come and taught us so much. When I look at my cupboards and I look at all these clothes and bags and shoes and that I haven't used in a year, and I think, what a waste of money, really. So it's important for us now to think ahead and say, now we're going to save, and this is what we're going to do. Yes, a lot of people say, oh, because life is so short now, we're just losing people due to COVID. Let us live just for today. It doesn't work like that, because you might be living for another 50 years. And then what?
And you'll have nothing. I mean, I'll give you another example. And you're talking about COVID and spending. I mean, I've clients of mine that have come to a realization during COVID that they spend too much money on takeaway. All of a sudden, they've been sitting at home and making wholesome meals. The husband decided, oh my God, he couldn't believe that he was actually a good cook. He's never ever cooked in his life before. And these guys actually didn't spend any of that money. And they called me. I felt very proud and very, very touched by it when they said to me, we actually saved all of this money. Can you please help us to invest it? And I think that's one of the other things that, as humans during this challenge, during this period of what, unfortunately, not everybody else would have that story, because people have lost their jobs, people have lost their homes, people's salaries have been decreased and so forth. So there is a lot of sadness, that goes with COVID as well. But I mean, the fact that as a young couple, they just saved, and I don't want to use the amount, but it was a large sum of money that they saved by just not buying takeaway. They were so fearful during lockdown.
I can really believe that, because if you look at the price of takeouts, I mean, if you have to order food for 3 people, you're spending nothing less than 400 Rand.
Exactly. And all of a sudden, I mean, this guy had calculated what a kilo of meat cost, how nice he could actually prepare those steaks, for example, and what he would pay for one person, he was actually feeding 4 people, So that was a real eye-opener in terms of the financial saving that one could do during COVID. But it's, what do you do afterwards? So I've saved all this money. Now, do I commit to making that change? And do I commit to now taking that next step? So I was very proud of them, because the first thing that they did was call me. And they actually asked me, so what should I do with my money? This is what I really want to do. And this is what I think I should be doing. So we found a middle ground, to make everyone happy, so that they got a full rounded portfolio. And the guy said straight out, he said, had it not been for COVID, in fact, COVID is exactly what we just talked about. He says, COVID's been good for me. I've learned that I can save. I've learned that we can sit at home and we can have a good meal as a family. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to go out and always buy food. You can socialize, but it doesn't mean that you have to spend money to be able to socialize.
I just feel that, the food tastes better. If we cook our own food, it tastes a lot better.
And a lot more healthier. I mean, yes. We're not eating things that are substituted in so many ways. So it makes an all-round good effect on our lives.
Absolutely. Some days I actually go to, when I used to go to restaurants, I would say, I want exactly what's on the picture. Because what's on the picture and what you get on your plate is totally, totally different. And I always see the way it is, and I say, I want that, but I want it exactly the way it is in the picture.
But that's so true. And I think, another part that also during this COVID, and we're talking about in terms of investing and savings, is I've also come across people that did not plan for their retirement. They all of a sudden have been put in positions where they're now too old to stay at their jobs. They've been given retirement packages or retrenchment packages, and they never save for their retirement. And that's also another, avenue that women need to think about, is that, are you saving for your retirement? Are you putting money away for, not relying on your children, not relying on your loved ones to take care of you? Are you being disciplined for your future? And unfortunately, even though we've had COVID, the mortality rate of individuals have grown. So we're actually going to be living longer. So, you know, the number crunch or the survey was put in that women live till age 85. That's changed. We actually live till 95.
Yes. No, I believe that. I definitely do. I mean, I know I'm going to live to 105.
You're a perfect example.
Naseera, thank you so much for coming on board. We're way over time. I've got another one at 5, another Zoom meeting. But just in a nutshell, what is your message out there to not just women, to men as well, just overall, and also your contact details? How can one get hold of you?
Okay, so I think my message is stay focused. And like you said, rethink, realign, reset, reignite the power within you. And I think we all can do it. You just need to believe in yourself and to find the strength to find financial freedom. My line always goes, invest today so that you can leave a legacy for tomorrow. My contact details, very simple. Yeah. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. It's Naseera Turkey. And my cell phone number is I think I'm going to use international, +27 82 333 1344. And my email address is naz@azuricapital.co.za. I do want to mention one thing is that we do offer full financial coaching. So the coaching comes in where we don't do any investments, we don't do anything. We just assist you in managing on how to manage your money and how to find discipline within yourself so that you actually can leave a legacy for tomorrow. And thank you again for having me.
Lovely. Naseera Turkey from Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you so much for coming on board and giving us so much of financial advice. I'm sure we're all going to pick up lots of bits and pieces from this chat. Thank you so much. Take care. We'll chat soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.